Welcome all of you to the seminar session conducted by Future School. Most of you are aware about Future School. It is a new generation platform for the integration of different technologies for utilizing it in printing industry and also for other industries. And also we are focused on skill development and consulting for print and allied medias. So we are in support with print associations, OEMs, and also most of the print entrepreneurs. So we welcome all of you to the session, and I am handovering uh, this platform to Josh Thomas, who is anchoring all this session, who is controlling all this session today. Thank you all.
Thank you, everyone. Good morning. So we have a good number of participants today. There are more than 77 participants, and it's good to go. I'm very happy to see that. Okay, everyone is very keen on hearing from the expert panel we have today. Like, I quickly want to go to the panelists because we all of us want to hear from them, and I should not waste any more time. And one thing I want to tell you that I will be in a little bit of hurry throughout this session because we want to make the best use of this time. So let me introduce the panel quickly. We have today Dr. Rajendra Kumar Aneth. We all know him very well. He's the Vice Chancellor of De Crest University. More than that, he is someone with a cabinet rank in Haryana, but still he is very humble to say that I'm a proud printer. So he's with us today. So I warm welcome to sir for this session. So we have Mr. Narendra Parchuri, who is the man behind the Pragati offset, unarguably the best, the finest printer in India. And he's a second generation entrepreneur. So he's in that position, being the finest printer in India for almost 2-3 decades. So it's a good opportunity to hear from him about aim for in the future. So welcome, sir. We have a major association leader today, Mr. Dayagar Reddy. He heads the IPAMA association for quite some time, and he's doing a lot for the printing industry to unite printing industry. So warm welcome, sir. Dayagar, sir. So we have two external experts today, Mr. Renjit Karthikeyan, who is a chartered accountant and a business consultant. He's also the independent director in Electronics Corporation of India Limited. There's a major a company under Ministry of Defense. So he's here to share with us his insights as an external expert. The reason we invited him is that he's someone who always comes out with very disruptive ideas and alternate solutions. So let's hear some of those from Renjit Karthikeyan today. Welcome, sir. So we have someone who is worked in public relations and crisis communication because we are going through a kind of crisis. We don't know, okay, it's going to be a crisis or not. So we have Ajay to share a few of his experiences and insights with us. Warm welcome, Ajay Patnathan. And Mr. O. Venugopal, I'm confused, sir, actually, to welcome you as a guest or a host because you are this from the very beginning along with Rajendra Kumar, sir. So I don't think I should welcome you. You should welcome us, actually. So he's the entrepreneur. He's again one of the very successful print company in Kerala. Like, to be precise, the Pragati in Kerala. So Anasara Offset is a long time best printer from Kerala, which is like all of us from Kerala are very proud of that. And warm welcome, sir. Yeah, so let me start this session with an academic touch today. I think that's the best way to start a session. So we have Rajendra Kumar Aneth, who is the Vice Chancellor. So I want to ask you, sir, sir, this an acronym is quite running around in marketing parlance mainly. that is VUCA, like volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and like ambiguity. So I think this is the time we are all faced, like we don't know actually. We are all looking at a complexity and like ambiguity and uncertainty. So you as a vice chancellor might be like interacting with government, other policymakers, and also counterparts from other parts of the world, we are sure. So what is going to come? There's a quite uncertainty. What is going to come? So can you take us through some of the global trends or some of the trends you perceive as going going to happen in few days?
Thank you, Mr. Jose. My regards to all those seniors and my colleagues and all the participants who have registered for this program today. Good morning to all of you once again. First of all, my heartfelt congratulations to Future School and the team for organizing such a program and bringing many of these stalwarts into one single platform. Now, getting into your question, like to set the tone, I like to put it in this way. These are all some of the projections, what I understood after discussing with colleagues and other peers here, like how the industry or how the whole world may shape up after the post-COVID. People will react to news more often and they get panic. Rumors will spread very fast, not like before, and you will see it very frequently. You will also hear more new viruses sometimes in the coming future. And media, electronic media, print media, I'm talking about newspapers, magazines, and they may be always behind writing more on subjects that people quickly want to read. And one industry which could really hit very badly would be the tourism industry. And it will take years, not just for India, but for all the countries. But the worst hit will be China, I believe. And the next area, what I can tell you is there will be a different kind of business like different test kits, masks, personal hygiene products. This business will thrive as a whole. And I'm sure we will see a plethora of new products in these segments. So printers with their chemistry knowledge should not just sit only to do some printing. They can work out some of the possibilities in chemical knowledge in the coming future, especially in this hygiene products, maybe masks. So recently I saw one printer from Government Press in Trivandrum who made a nice shield for everyone to use with the astronal sheet. It looked quite interesting. And there'll be a lot of innovative methods to sanitize places. I mean, wherever human interaction is there, you may have to sanitize. And you will see sanitizer at the gate of every restaurant, every printing press, every customer service desk, banks, institutions like colleges, universities. This will be another trend we will see. Let the people predict anything. I strongly believe economy would take at least 2 to 3 years to recover from where we are today, minimum. This is what I feel. This is what my economic professors told me. And this is true with the whole world, not just here. And they also predict there could be some high rate of suicides in the coming time from the sociologist point of view. And health issues will be more related to maybe sometimes psychological. Alcoholism and drugs may go up. And after this pandemic, after witnessing this pandemic, there will be an urge to, you will see a total decline in international education. Many universities have already decided not to run physical classrooms in the next 1 to 2 years. So because universities will have to focus more on online education. We are also in the same line here. Another area which would hit could be the stage shows, comedy shows, movie, reality show. As a whole, wherever people are coming together may affect in the coming time after this corona time. Earlier, the prediction was the personal usage of vehicle will go down, automobile industry. But now there is a complete turn happen now. The ride sharing companies will struggle because for the safety side, when people they may prefer to have a personal vehicle use now. Insurance companies also will grow in a big way because everybody is worried about their health and their future. And the biologists are telling bats and exotic animal population will increase because consumption of all these will go down in countries like China. And the concept of meat eating will also change. Another change could be the world has realized its dependency on China, up to what level they should take it, and there could be a significant change. It already started coming. And the trustworthiness of that nation, how people are going to redefine, how the world is going to redefine, which we have to see. Tourism to China will be the maximum hit, I believe. Not just there, even in India, you will see that. Another, there's some of these Ayurvedic and general immune boosting products will see a growth as people would want to prepare in general because immunity building is the only focus now what we have. Another interesting prediction of both basic scientists and sociologists is sneezing in public will become a taboo. We may have to teach the new generation how to sneeze in public, how to cough. And yesterday I was reading an article. It's a scientific article. You may feel it funny. Even the coronavirus can be spread through farting. So how in public or in home, in private space, how we are going to answer all this call of nature will be a big question and how it is to be addressed. Probably many systems what Japanese are already using, we may adopt. And you will see some decent impact on pollution in the future. And I believe, I don't know, government may consider increasing taxes on internet database because this will be a real income source. All other field will go down. So one option to create some wealth for the government will be this. And meat industry and leather industry will see a very stringent norms in the coming time. So this industry could also be redefined. But I strongly believe print industry, packaging industry will certainly grow with an understanding of sustainability, hygiene practices, and other health related activities. So maybe pharma industry, packaging industry, carton industry will have more stringent norms in the coming time. But there will not be any issue for print and packaging industry. Time being, we may suffer a small lag, but all will be all right. That's all from me in this morning, and thank you.
Thank you. Sir, Narendra sir, so we understand from Rajendra Kumar that okay, there is going to be a mixed feeling, like certain. So, uh, uh, uh,
I'm not getting you. I cannot hear you.
Uh, can you hear now?
Yeah, now is better.
Yeah. So Rajendra Kumar was mentioning that okay, it's going to be a mixed feeling. Certain industries will suffer, certain industries will grow further. So what I'm realistically understand from his like words is that okay, but anyway there is going to be a recession. Actually, there is going to be an economic setback, irrespective of whatever happened now. So you being one of the most preferred printer to many of these leading brands and corporates in India, I am sure you are the one who is going to get a pulse of the situation before all of us. So how do you perceive this economic setbacks or market dynamics will affect the print business as a whole?
Actually, we always quantify time as before Christ and after his death. Now we have to do it as before Christ is not before Christ anymore. It's before Corona and after Corona. This has been an unheard and unseen and unprecedented situation. There is no expert telling us anything because there is no expertise in this matter. Business will be affected, especially commercial printing. Packaging is needed and should pick up faster. But it will take some time to come back to where it was. Supply chains, labor have to come back to normal. Please understand, whenever many of the machines we use have a centrifugal, a flywheel.
Yeah.
It initially takes a lot of energy to get it to a certain stage. And then to move it at that particular thing, it doesn't take much more. But today, the flywheel has come to a stop. To take it back to that same force is going to take a lot of time. And actually, I would like to say the year 2021, April 1st to March 31st, 21, is a year of survival. It's not a year of making money. It's not a year of going forward. If you can survive, then you can look forward to a better future in the coming times.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we are coming to Dayagar sir. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you, Josh.
Sir, you are being the IPAMA president. You are someone who is very widely connected with the industry in India and other countries too. So you can easily do a reality check. So what is the sentiment in Indian print industry right now in the back of this corona? And what was happening for quite some time in the print industry? It's not just a corona issue. There is more to it. So what's your opinion about it?
Yeah, I do agree with my previous speaker, our print guru and quality guru of India, Mr. Narendra ji. There will be a droppage in commercial segment. Yes, definitely. But there will be a huge scope in packaging segment. And the biggest challenge for our commercial printers and printers in the country, if we all see the statistics, I believe 40 to 60% of the printers, they believe on agency jobs. I'm not talking about the prime agencies or the quality agencies. I'm talking about the printers who does not have equipment and they will print through the equipment presses. So that is the key challenge, unless until the customer, I do know across the country who does 99%, 100% only on dependency jobs. Those people is going to be definitely face a lot of challenges because on the price crisis, the printers will start fighting on the price conscious. So obviously the agency people, when do they get a better quality at better price, they will switch to other printers. So what I would suggest all the printers, look at least 40 to 50% your own jobs. It would be a direct job to your printers so that, maybe a MNC or a company or manufacturing or export order. So that is very, very crucial this point of time. And COVID, if you see COVID, in printing industry, what we talk about, what is the basic regulations for COVID? I do understand 99% of printing presses, we don't follow any hygienics. This has to be accepted. We have to accept our plus as well as our minuses also. So it is a big challenge now, keeping a social distance, human distance and hygienics. We have to start from the scratch. We have to scratch. When you see Japan or developed markets in printing presses, when we visit them, so they have already adopted this social distancing and hygienic things. So we have to start after exit of lockdown. So printers has to utilize their time in this lockdown, how to implement their hygienicsness and social distancing and human distancing in their own presses.
Thank you. That's a very important point, that going to be a price drop and printers will fight each other, and that's something that to worry about. So next I'm going to someone from Kerala who knows the specific challenges of print industry very well. He is none other than Venugopal sir. So, sir, can you outline us what are the major challenges specific to Kerala print industry? I know that there are a lot. There's like Kerala is way different from India and other parts of our country. And this is the time like the whole India or the world is looking up to Kerala for something. What are the specific challenges to Kerala print industry in this situation?
Yes. Good morning, everybody.
Yes.
Kerala is different from a lot of things, not only in print, a lot of things we are different from other states in India. Kerala being more of consumer state and service economy, the industrial culture is missing in the human resources of the state. And we are 100% dependent on outside supply of all inventories. That causes the cost of production higher than other states. And the uptime of machines, raw materials prices are high comparatively to other states. Kerala's economy thrives on foreign currency inflow, and we are expecting a steep decline in demand for new projects in major sectors. And we are depending, Kerala printers are depending everything from outside. So automatically the cost will increase. In national level, it is very difficult for Kerala printers to compete with other printers. Although we are a quality conscious, it is very difficult for us to compete other printers. This is one of the main reasons, and this is the challenge we are facing now.
Yes, sir. So I think there's a major message in that we are a money order economy, and we may face little more challenges than other parts of the world. That's a point I had taken from that. So, Mr. Ranjit, yeah. So I think this is the time we need you the most, like as an external expert. You heard from us, like what are the specific challenges and what is going to happen in print industry and in global scenario. So in this situation, we are all like, there are a lot of entrepreneurs here today. So as print entrepreneurs, what shall they do on an immediate basis? Where shall they focus on a short-term basis? Can you just take us through?
One and all, and what you ask me is really a question which probably nobody has to know. Probably an astrologist and much in case. However, one thing that I very well know is that you cannot be natural.
Not able to hear.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now it's better. Please speak closer to the mic.
Yeah, probably the riskiest thing to do if you don't act now in the wake of the uncertainty, then I think you are doing the most the worst thing that ever can do. So you have to act. So what do you act? How do you act in uncertain terms? Then probably this is the time when you will possibly have to sit down, go back to the drawing board during this lockdown period. A great opportunity for you to assess what the business is all about. What is your strength, the weakness, SWOT analysis probably, and go to the drawing board, make out a scenario for yourself, like a 3 different things. So what is the worst that can happen, the best that can happen, and maybe a middle of the road thing. So 3 scenarios. Make sure that you possibly foresee all these eventualities and prepare for that. So how do you prepare from the historical data that you have? Probably no one of us has ever gone through such a big lockdown kind of situation. The economic downturn that is unprecedented. So you need to possibly interpolate and see how it is going to be when you have a serious cash flow issue, when you have to make decisions, when you build a certain, like family said that certain industries may not happen. So how would you possibly build a business and get lost when you open up to get ready for that particular of industry that you have not possibly catered. There are several things that you need to possibly do also, and you have to see what the technology that you have been using, whether it will be good enough to or good enough for take it to the next level of operation, whether your staff has been seen as a stakeholder or a factor of production. Basically, when you look at labor as a factor of production, then you have a problem. So how would you reorient yourself to the entire business gamut and work towards something that you have not seen yet, so that the drawing board, every owner of the business, because there is no, I don't think that it's a panacea for every business unit. The business unit has individual problems. Some may have cash flow issues, some may have good investments, good equipment, but they don't have possibly the best of technicians. So each business unit has to identify, analyze, and gear up for a situation that may crop up in the years to come. So don't be inactive. We make sure that the action, the planning happens with period of time, and make sure you work according to a plan which will help you to. I'm not saying that it's going to be anymore. We are not saying that there's going to be a huge business potential, but then you should be having a positive frame of mind, considering a lot of activities that will happen, especially in the packaging industry, where a lot of companies are trying to bring into India. And I am and always carry a positive outlook rather than saying that, oh, what will happen? You should possibly take a rapid but measured approach. Here shows a lot of uncertainty. So something is back to the drawing board and and work with your team members. So that's just one thing that immediately somebody has in the business has to do.
Thank you, sir. I think you raised a lot of points, very, very pertinent to Prindesh, but the voice clarity was somehow compromised. So maybe the next round you can be a little more closer to the mic or something better. Yeah, so we'll come back to you, sir. So Ajay, are you audible? We can't see you on, you are on, yeah. I think now you can.
Yeah, can you hear me now? Yeah.
So this is kind of as everyone explained, this is a survival game. So there is going to be some amount of crisis, we are all sure. So you are someone who handle a lot of crises, I know that, okay, you are recently you were with IL&FS and you see a lot of these ups and downs, and someone who is experienced yourself. So entrepreneurs are worried, they are going to enter into their printing press after a long time, after a long lockout. So what shall they do? First, second, and third, in that order, I will precisely ask you, how should they act actually? How should they react to this situation? Not as a businessman, maybe as a person, how should they act? What's your opinion?
I think, now with the COVID-19 outbreak, dramatically transforming the business world and, of course, your communication strategy, the pressure is on to adapt quickly. During the pandemic, when it goes on, and it will take a lot of time actually, when the air clears actually. The normal is, no more normal anymore. We are in a world where, post-COVID, we will be dealing with a new kind of normals actually. And there's never been a more important time to communicate your vision and connect with your stakeholders, customers, or colleagues. And clarity matters at this point of time. We are in an information overload today. So from a very communication perspective, more than ever, we need to speak our language very directly, clear, and easy to digest actually. I mean, end of the day, the premise of every business is where you promise quality, delivery, assurance, all those things. But the core premise is trust that you will be able to deliver. and you will be able to deliver when you have your team, your people, your machinery, your infrastructure, your stakeholders, everyone, firing in all cylinders. So this is a time where, it is a lot about making commitment. So it's like communicate inclusion and equity. We are all in this together. Emphasize your commitment to supporting the employees, the community during and after the outbreak, and acknowledge the uncertainty. Nobody in this world today is untouched by what's actually happening. From your employees are one of your biggest assets. As an organization, you can get equipments, furnitures, infra, everything in place, but having trustworthy, experienced employees, it's a challenge, retaining them. So keep your employees informed, engaged, and updated, because you will have to really give them that clarity, because as Mr. Anayat was mentioning in the beginning, that rumors are like, when anytime there's a crisis, the first thing which takes off is rumors actually. So if you don't fill in with your information and clarity, somebody else will with their imagination or their vested interest. So we will have to be actually top of our game when it comes to communicating. There are two levels of communication here. One is where the leadership, because everybody looks about the leadership and they would like to know that what's the organization's state, where is it going, what we will do. And second, for a lot of workers, it's their immediate bosses. So as a leader, when you say that don't worry, we'll take care of things and all, it is also important for the reporting bosses and all to also reiterate that, because whatever they say gets validated. Third thing is actually your customers, your stakeholders, which includes your bankers, your government, your policymakers, your suppliers. You have to engage all of them when you are framing your the crisis management policies. How will you do that? Craft messages that inspires trust in your organization and the leadership, because people are watching now how companies are caring for their employees, how they're conducting their business. The feeling of we're all in this together resonates between customers, employees alike, everyone. So we need to be seen as a set of people who are responsible, are concerned, and will do the right thing, crisis or not. And the most important thing is, as a community of printers, as a community of people who facilitate driving multi-billion business of MNCs and governments, everyone, what you can also do is listen. Listening is very important at this point of time, because things are changing rapidly, and your previous business models or ways of conducting business may not work in the current scenario. So please keep your antennas up, listen what's happening, and evolve along with that.
Thank you, Ajay. There's a lot of important messages in that for print entrepreneurs. Communicate, take your employees on your side, and listen very carefully. Good messages. So with this, I'm going back to Rajendra Kumar, sir. Sir, see, this is the time we need a lot of different skill set. You mentioned many of this, panelists are mentioned about a lot of things are going to be changed actually. So what do you think are going to be the important skill sets and qualities to be acquired by these print entrepreneurs and print professionals in the days to come? Can you be little brief, because time is...
I will not take much time.
Yeah.
So, because the skill set and knowledge is not much different in print industry also compared to any other industry, because the functioning of almost all industries will become same. Another one, earlier knowledge has a big advantage, and nowadays there is no point in just talking about knowledge, because it is ubiquitous, it is available everywhere, and you can't do anything. It's available everywhere. So what makes you different is two skill sets, that is your wisdom and your creativity. These are the two things which are going to really make you different wherever you are. And then everybody has to learn about digitalization and automation. digitalization and automation will be a part and parcel of print industry in the coming time. And when you want to communicate this open platform communication, united architecture, what we call OPC UA, probably we would have seen all these in Drupa. If Drupa is there, maybe next year, few more advantage, changes will come within a year, I'm sure. So everybody will have to learn about this. This will help all of us in transparency of decisions, optimizing logistics, and there will be benchmarks available. As on today, I don't think there are enough benchmarks needed, what we needed in our industry. But if you compare software industry or other hardcore manufacturing industry, they all have a lot of benchmarking systems. And recently I got even feedback form from you, taking to know about how the benchmarking is to be done and some levels you were discussing. I think that's very important skill set which people have to acquire. So in short, I can tell the skill sets, what every printer should acquire is bring your wisdom, bring your creativity, learn about digitalization, learn about automation, and bring transparency in all decisions, because you can't do anything like earlier. Optimize all your logistics and bring some specific benchmarks to your work, whatever you are doing. That's all from me.
Yeah, thank you, sir. So this benchmarking is one very important point. I think I have a background in software industry, and that benchmarking is a very, very crucial aspect of growing many organizations there. I think that's a very valid point. We will discuss in the future. Yeah, so I'm going back to Narendra, sir. Sir, actually, see, this is going to be the time to tighten the belts. Actually, there is going to be cost pressure on printers, and cost cutting will be the mantra. So, how much of cost cutting can be done in a printing press? Like, which are the areas printers can look at for the cost optimization?
I sincerely think when I look at employees, customers, vendors, machine suppliers, take one by one.
Yes.
Vendors have to be paid because they also have to run their business, and we are paying for what we bought from them. Customers, we have to request them to pay as soon as possible, and I hope they pay. As far as employees go, as we were just told, the most important asset we have, they are a part of our family. It is sad that so many leaders speak of not firing a salary, not firing any employee and paying full salary. It's unfortunate that not one word has been said about the owner who has to pay this and how he's going to manage this. Also, we must understand that we cannot take it for granted that we are opening on 4th May. If it is good. In the case the virus re-emerges, then we go in for another shutdown. So we are not sure of the days ahead, whether it's going to be V, whether it's going to W, whether it's going to U. We really don't know where it is. And I compare all businesses to a hot air balloon sailing in the air with 4 or 5 cylinders of gas. There's a limited number of gas. You cannot keep on sailing forever. So unless you are very, very judiciously using your cash, your systems, you might not last for long and the balloon will crash. There is absolutely no doubt that we as owners are responsible for our employees. We have to take care of them. We on our part do not want to retrench anybody, because if you fire somebody now, finding another job in this situation is almost impossible. How much we can pay them is something we are discussing with the team, and we'll take a decision. This is the reason why we said year 2021 is the year of survival. If we survive, we can look for a good future, but it is going to be a very, very, very tough year with many, many challenges. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. It's almost sure that, like, you also raised a point that, okay, like, many of the printers are accepting agency jobs and they are not doing direct jobs with the consumers or with the brands. So there is another very important point here is that, okay, we can't, like in India, I am very reasonably sure that we can't survive with the domestic work actually. So many of the other industries like IT, automobile, and all these, many of these major industries are thriving on global market. So is it time that okay, printers in India also focus on other markets? Is it a possibility? How do you see that this emerging, like in the days to come? Like what should be the direction?
In all these years, it has been only plan A. Go to China, bring it, sell it. But now things, I sincerely think will change, because now everybody is looking for a plan B, C, D. So and one thing is definite, our labor costs are cheaper than China. And chances are some amount of manufacturing will come into India, because India has got a better name to export than China as of now. But having said that, I must say the infrastructure and the system in China is so good, and we are very, very, very far off. And also very, very important, China has understood that it's not, I'm not degrading any Jawan here. I have highest respect for the armed forces. Long ago, one Prime Minister said, Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan. I agree with it fully, but it's also Jai Kisan and Jai Industrialist. There's no two ways about it. China has understood that industry is extremely important to go up, and in 30 years, starting from the same point, China has reached a point where we can't even reach. In my lifetime, we can't. So Chinese have understood that industry is important. They run the industries because of the government. Here we have run in spite of the government. So it's a tough time, but we have to look forward how we have to manage. Thank you.
Dayagar sir?
Yes.
Yeah. Sir, complaint from Indian consumers is that they are not able to maintain, like printers are not able to maintain quality and consistency. And most printers blame machine manufacturers and material providers for this particular issue. So what are your comments as a representative of machine manufacturers? Can we expect printers expect something more in the somewhere very high? There will be more demand from the print consumers.
Yeah. It's a very good question, and it's a need of our today, basically, Mr. Joshi. The reason behind is when we talk about 200 plus printers across the globe, can anyone says how many printers are they following the strict quality measures? Maybe, I'm not saying every printer is doing the same, but probably 0.05% printers across like Pragati, Pakistan, big printers. Maybe 500 printers in India must be adopting print test and quality controls. So if you see to reach into next level, all these B and C grade printers, they need to have their own quality consistency. They need every press. I would urge all the printers, every printer has to have their own print testing center in their individual press. If you are talking about a MNC company, they need a consistency. If you talk about a packaging product, every time you print and the color changes and the ratio changes, that product may not be accepted in the market. So I urge future school, because I have been following you people, and fortunately Mr. Pradeep has given us the presentation to have a testing lab in our IPAMA center. We are seriously thinking on that testing lab, which can be tested on any printer substitute, any kind of material used in printing industry, right maybe chemical, ink, or any substance, film, paper, everything. We are seriously looking into it, and we are exploring those things. So unless until you have, before blaming somebody else, definitely there will be I would not say entire machine manufacturers, entire raw material manufacturer will give you the best product. So that is the job of entrepreneur, a printer, to select the best stuff. So unless until you don't judge who is the best, what is the best, so you cannot deliver the best. So basically consistency, and that is where we are lacking. When I visited few presses in China about 6 months back, they do it for Johnny Walker. Johnny Walker liquor boxes. And I visited at the topmost box manufacturer. There is no manual intervention. And I visited even 90%. They use only few equipments. Rest 90% is manual. Both people are equally invested on their test lab. And they say proudly, they maintain 3 years of each and every job they delivered from their unit. They keep 3 years soft copy of their analysis. So that is where they end. You know, if we talk about in India, if you want to use a rigid box, only the client will always ask for Kappa board. Whereas in China, they have been using their own country's board, which is almost 100% more expensive, lesser than Kappa. So these are all the things the printer entrepreneur has to rethink, and they have to adopt in their printing process. Definitely, no one can stop this. Thank you.
Thank you. That's a very important point. Standardization and very important aspect of that is a good quality control lab. So you mentioned about it. That's a good news for the print professional print enterprise. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm moving to Ranjit Karthikeyan again.
And with me on my iPhone, I have logged into the iPhone.
Okay.
And you can unmute that so that maybe you will have a better.
So what you put there, sir? I can only see one entry by you.
iPhone, I logged in from iPhone.
Yeah, I think, I got it. Sir, so you heard this main challenges of the industry. And it's obvious that, okay, that big players and the small players will somehow survive. So challenge for the real SMEs, that medium, like little more bigger printer to have a survival game. So how the enterprise changed approach to business in terms of financial management areas? I know that you are very, very adept. So can you explain something about what should be the approach in specific to financial management in these days to come?
See, I seriously don't think that there is going to be a survival for a bigger organization or a smaller fry. Okay. I think this impact will be across board. Maybe it depends on, as I told in the last comment, that possibly it depends on the business unit per se, how well you have planned it, how well you have taken care of your cash flow management and all. And today, I don't think there is going to be any differentiation between big and small and medium. Everybody is impacted in their own way. So every business unit will have to have sizing up of their organization. They have to make sure that the financial management is at its best. I see that there has to be a lot of cash flow management primarily. And when organization opens, the cash flow will be the prime importance for an organization which has leveraged itself, especially from banks and all. So basically, then you have to list out the capacity of your clients to get borrowings from the banks, whether they will be able to give your money, their receivables where there has been something. You have to be really aggressive in getting the money, and also make sure that the inventory levels are at an optimum level, because the time is the factor of money. The cost, we have not been told, especially when there is a huge business, when the business volumes are high, we generally don't look at the stock positions, we don't look at the cost accounting angle. And today it is a time where every little rupee is of prime importance. Your economy as a nation has taken a hit, even though there has been booster doses, and the RBI has come out with plans to energize the industries. But then how much do you have for this particular sector? The sector has to gear up, and the sector will have to make sure that they have their financial statements critically analyzed, plan for what it's going to do. For example, if you are going to have packaging, catering to the packaging industry, what will be the levels? Whether you will be able to leverage on the supplier. See, every industry, your input has to come. Somebody was earlier saying that even to come back into the production line, the supply chain has to be critically analyzed, and they have to start their operations. So there will be a lead time before actually the supply becomes seamless. Today, we are at a position where the cost, especially of that borrowings, will have to be very, very, very impactful, and make sure that the loans that you availed, you go to your bank, revisit the entire plan of repayment, maybe after the moratorium period. Even then, if you can get some kind of we very sure that the banker is taken into confidence. As rightly said, possibly the 2020 and 2021 would be a period where you will have to really tighten your belt, be frugal, control cost. And also, for example, they were talking about the government has especially said that there cannot be any employee that coming under the Payment of Wages Act cannot be terminated per se. Your wages has to be given. So, as I said earlier, getting the confidence of the workers that work in your establishment, don't see them as a factor of production. See them as a kind of a stakeholder. Take him into confidence. Build a team to tide over this difficult situation. That's the only way. And finance being the most critical input, financial management and the overall resource allocations needed for the survival. It's not for expansion or anything. The capital that needed, the capital that you would probably will require to maybe tweak and get into the next level. All these things has to be considered. You have to take a studied decision, and that can happen only when you have a statement in hand, and the cash management takes precedence of every other thing right now. Every single rupee that you save is a rupee earned, and you have no other choice. Everybody, big, large, medium, small, everybody will have to make sure that the cash is saved. Every single rupee is saved, and tighten the belt. You can possibly spend only what is most essential. Good to have need not be in your plan. Good to have to possibly wait for some more time, and that is where a good financial planning will happen. So each and every person will have to have the finance team sitting together, iterating and seeing what is best and what will make you lean and mean to come forward and be competitive and better than your competitors. That is one thing that you possibly need to do right now.
Yeah, thank you, sir. So there is a very important message there. I think that inventory management which is very crucial for printers, because we spend a lot of money, and most of the time printers finance the customers. That's a reality a lot of these printers face right now. So I'll have more questions on that. Yeah, Ajay, as you know that as an industry, as a trade, printers are always at the receiving end. I don't think they get the credit they really deserve. Like, as someone who are in the knowledge industry, the kind of importance IT gets or some other industries get, printers never get that kind of a credit. So as an industry, how can anyone get their standing better? What shall we do for that as an industry? What's your opinion? Ajay?
Crisis or not, making yourself heard as a collective has its own impact and reach actually. So, if I have to look at an analogy, print industry is like the tire industry. When a car is launched, everybody talks about the engine, interior, everything, but nobody talks about the tire, which takes it from point A to point B. Same, same is the condition with the print industry. You are one of the key stakeholder in, government or private multinational business, but, you are not spoken about, not heard about. So if nobody is speaking about you, then it is you who's supposed to make that noise and make yourself heard. So now this is a time where industry has to come together and actually find out, what is the set of needs they need to be addressed by the government, by the industry, by their peer group, and this has to be brought to the front actually.
Okay. So how can the printers do? Like they are so disintegrated. We have associations, but I think what's your suggestion? Should we unite, or should we every printer has to do their own work? So what do you suggest? What's the best industry practice in this situation?
The third standard lesson was united we stand, divided we fall. So of course there is no doubt on that. I'll say that I don't know exactly about what is industry currently doing, but before we actually go out and make the noise, we need to be clear about certain things. How big is our industry? What is the kind of jobs and opportunities we provide? What is a percentage we contribute to the GDP? Somewhere this kind of aggregation of numbers have to happen, because based on that numbers only, you can actually go and, talk to the government, swing the public opinion in your support, because without all these things, it's not going anywhere. But to do all those things as an association, as a group of people who have come together, you should have all those baseline data, and then this should be actually, brought to the forefront. For that, you can use the print media, news broadcast, and all those things, even your social media today, which is probably, completely unused by the, print, this thing actually, other than advertising their products. So this is a great opportunity where if you want to get into lobbying to get things in your favor, the association actually have to, get all those information in place and then, make the noise.
Oh, that's a very important point. So there are two industry association leaders in our panel. So I just want to quickly to Dayagar sir, who is working a lot for the print industry. So sir, what is your opinion? Are printers are going to be united, or Ajay said the other way? What's your on this?
Great. Thanks, Ajay. You made our industries day, really. And to all the attendees and panelists, I would like to update you. IPAMA has started this initiation long back, but in between things will not move into positively. So about 10 years back. Now, last 3 years, I've been talking to all different associations, and we have identified our 19 associations across the country, which are segmented to print and packaging. I'm talking about label, corrugation, screen printing, barcoding, hologram, who are related to entire printing fraternity. So I'm happy to share the information that last Monday, 13th, we had our first meeting through Zoom call. There was 12 presidents were presented and with their views, and anonymously everybody has agreed that yes, we should go together and create a federation. Now we have a different association, so we don't have a federation of industry. So for our own industry, so we are in the process of creating that federation. I'm thankful to all the associations like AFMP, ALPS, LMA, FCBMA, all associations. So everybody has unitedly agreed that yes, we need this. Unless until we don't go with a unitedly, we will not get back our rights. So now today we had given the deadline to all the associations. Everybody has given their suggestions. Hopefully next week we were representing on post-COVID issue also. We are going to have a minimum program for immediate action, medium thing, and the long term. So we have divided into 3 terms: immediate, medium, and long run. We are submitting that representation to Prime Minister as well as Industry Minister and Finance Minister, hopefully next month. And I would like to tell you all the listeners here, we have made certain analysis. What could be our industry size? So it is surprisingly, our industry is sized near about 6.5 lakhs to 7.5 lakh crores, which is a huge industry. You know, probably we may surpass automobile industry and something like that, those industries also. So, but only the thing is we are not united. We are not united. So with this, the step of federation, I hope maybe coming years, coming days, definitely we will gain what we want as a industry federation.
Oh, thank you. So I think that's a very surprising news, and it's a good news for the entire industry. If that's going to happen, that could change our destiny forever, I believe. So, sir, so I just quickly want to go to Venugopal sir, who is working very relentlessly for uniting printers in Kerala. So I know that from my personal experience. Whenever I meet Venu sir, I ask about Anaswara, and he talks about Kerala print industry. So, what's your opinion about Kerala print industry being united and being heard?
As far as I am concerned, it is high time to think about the unity. Otherwise, we will be nowhere in the industry, because this corona itself give a lot of trouble to the each and every, whether it is big or small, it will affect automatically to the grassroots level to our industry. So it is better to have a collaboration, as any individual big investment will be difficult.
We can hear you,
It will be difficult for faster ROIs. Besides, the industry can enjoy more works to be printed in the state itself, if for which they can have common facility under a consortium. So consortium is the big thing that we have to think about. And it is the high time, I think so, it is the high time for at least Kerala printers to go with the consortium. And in my opinion, in this time, it is think twice before you are going for an investment, whatever it may be. One of the panelists clearly mentioned all these things, Mr. Ranjit Karthikeyan, like that we have to think twice, whether it is necessary or need, whatever it may be. Think twice, then only go for an investment, whatever it may be. It is a small, big, whatever it may be. It is my opinion. And I would like to say that the consortium is the only thing we have to survive in this crisis. And we are, the Kerala printers, we are also thinking like that. We can have a lot of things, consortium, the common facility we can have, because there is a huge investment for this post-press works. It is very difficult for a printer to acquire the entire machines, and it is very difficult for a small printer to get it done from outside. So we should have a consortium at least for this post-press. And if it is something like that for the purchasing, it is also good for the industry, because we can ship containers and containers of paper, import papers from abroad, and we can utilize the same. And it is not against to any dealer or whatever it may be, but the competition and the prices will automatically come down, and there will be a enthusiasm for the printers to do work in such a good manner. And as the Agardi correctly says, we should be united. We met 2 or 3 years before, in months before in Delhi. At that time, he himself told that, so we are going to do this thing. I appreciate your initiative, and I will give my full support, at least in Kerala, the printers of Kerala, for your genuine and good initiative. Thank you.
Sir, one quick question, but just Ajay was mentioning about this aggregation of data. So any initiatives on that front in Kerala is happening? Aggregation of real data?
Printing industry, as you know, it is an unorganized sector. Not only in Kerala, but in India it is like that. But in our, my personal and our association's effort for last so many years, we have come to a route data, not a particular perfect data, that in Kerala there are 5,000 printers are there, in small, big, whatever it may be. And out of this, the annual turnover will be around 2,000 crores.
Oh.
government, and nobody knows what is happening in the industry. And the employment, it may be around 1 lakh. So we are giving the employment for 1 lakh people in Kerala. And the investment, our machinery and our investment is also very huge. This is something like the capital intensive industry. So even a printing press, a 4-color printing machine will cost around a minimum 3 to 5 crores. This is the scenario. And in that case, and we can give a job to 4 or 5 people if we are investing in a single 4-color machine. So it is an unorganized sector, and the Kerala Master Printers Association is trying to gather all the data, and most probably within 6 months we will be ready with all this thing. Anyhow, this is a tentative thing. These are the 2 things. Around 1 lakh people we are employing in our industry. Around 2,000 crores is the annual turnover, like that only.
Okay.
And 5,000 printers will be there.
This is a major, like any economic yardstick, this is a major number, like 2,000 crore in Kerala, and being employed more than 1 lakh people is something that is very large. And I don't think that printers are getting that kind of fair deal from government or from the society or from the business. So that is something which associations has to work very hard, I believe. So with this, sir, I'm moving to Rajendra Kumar, sir, for a kind of annoying question. But this is in everyone's mind. Online is already trying to outplace print as much as possible in every possible field. And digital printing is already like breathing on the neck of this real printers. I don't classify digital printing as someone else, but what is the future for the real printers? Like majority here, like there are a lot of people who are working in offset printing, Davier printing, and flexography. And also, what should they worry? Like, what's your opinion?
See, Mr. Jose, you're asking this question to a teacher. Like, how much time I can answer?
I know. Yeah, you take time. This is a very.
I will not take much, but I will try. I just want to ask you that. I like to start my answering in little different way. Like, you look at the global trends today first. You will see lot of technological changes, specializations, automation, effect of influence of industry 4.0, sustainability, freedom and privacy, demographical changes, security and brand protection, all data-driven applications. These are the general trends happening in the whole globe as a trend. And if you, with this background, if you look very specific to print industry, the industry growth potentials are like functional printing, which we started talking a decade or 2 decades ago, but now it is the time to talk about it. Functional printing, industrial printing, finishing and decoration. Finishing and decoration is taking a very different dimension now. Applications of 3D printing. Don't just call it as a structural printing, nothing to do with printing, but we have something to do with that. Packaging printing and active and intelligence packaging. Then one field which general printers we left was textile printing. It's a huge potential in textile printing, because since I worked with a textile institute 5 years, I could gather it's a huge potential, and there are not much real experts in that line. So with our printing knowledge, I believe we can look into that. Then almost all marketing today, if you look, all multi-sensory activation has started. It's not just the 5 senses, but it started even influencing the mind and the intellect part. Earlier, it was talking only about body, some body part, vision was the only thing. But now it addresses your body, your mind, and the intelligence. So the multi-sensory activities of Sharira, Mana, Buddhis to be focused into our industrial potential. These are the major things which I want to tell you from the industry growth potential. And now, if you look the 4 mega trends that are going to happen in our industry, this is again based on like any other industry, not much different. One part will be the artificial intelligence. So you call it as small data, big data, micro data, or mammoth data, whatever it is. Big data is going to play a big role. And then digital twin will be used a lot, whether it is for servicing, whether it is for other advices, or all kinds of activities. You will see huge applications of digital twin. Then virtual services. So these three things will be under the artificial intelligence part. And then the next trend will be connected customers. Earlier, customers were not that much connected. It was only with industries like few industries like maybe Amazon or Flipkart. We were thinking they are the only one connected with customers. But now our industry is also focused more into connected customers through Internet of Things or web to print, whatever you call it. This is another area which we have to focus. Then the entire economy of print industry is also moving to platform economy. This is what even Drupa projected, the same thing, which we will witness when we go there, I'm sure. So various industrial Internet of Things, then digital business modes, all these you will see in platform economy in the coming days. Then the fourth trend will be circular economy. Circular economy is more of recycling the things, like you design it, you produce it, distribute it, consume it, recycle it, again back, resign it. That's what the automobile industry or heavy duty manufacturing industry, they were telling. Nobody will use a new steel piece now to manufacture any machine. All will be recycled. So now it will be a common responsibility for the environment and also for sustainable solutions. So printers will have to look from this point of view. And if I want to touch upon a little bit on the education part, the traditional kind of print education may not work out in the coming days because the skill sets and the requirements are totally different. It is not much varied from the basic branches. Like mechanical, now we have changed a lot. It's not that earlier mechanical engineering, what we did today, it's only 50%. 50% is totally changed. This is true with the print industry also. So every printer, every print businessman has to think about all these things, and he has to address these requirements. That's the only option in front of him.
Oh, that's a very good point you raised. I think printers has to move from just putting ink on paper to service providers or solution providers. That's a larger message I got from your discussion. Yeah, so I'm just asking Narendra sir, I want to ask you a very, very important question. So taking cue from Rajendra Kumar's opinion, printers has to expand. They have to get into much more areas and services. So they have to be the solution providers. This he touched upon the digital business, circular economy, platform economy. So what is the opportunity for printers to expand beyond this offset machines, printing and post press? Beyond that, what are the areas you in the future to come? Like you might be getting some demands also for such services. Can you take us through?
Before answering that, I would like to actually go back to what Dayakar Reddy said on industry. Unfortunately, after so many years, printing is still not considered as industry, although we've been asking for it for a very, very, very long time. 2 lakh printers in this country minimum, and still we don't have an industry status, number one. Number two, what Venu Chettan told, I would agree on a consortium. In today's world, investing on any machinery is becoming extremely expensive. So unless there is a consortium, we might not be able to go forward. And in today's world, believe me, what will you expand in? How will you expand in? None of these things are coming into my mind at all. How to survive is the key. And maybe the consortium part of it, maybe getting it together somebody else with some more people makes life a lot more easier. But this is not the year to think about. Let's go to Drupa and then think about expansion. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. So I'm just moving to Narendra. Sorry, Dayakar Reddy, sir. Sir, there. I can't see you. Dayaganreddy sir? Okay, it's on unmute.
Yeah, I'm there.
Sir, I just want to ask you. So there is a saying. There is like many commenting that printing is a sunset industry and it is going to face a lot of challenges. So a lot of printers, print professionals, everyone is worried in their back of their minds. Is it going to be the trend? So you are organizing this print back exhibitions year after year. We know that it's crossing all limits in number of visitors, number of exhibitors. So how will you respond to this?
Yeah, it's a good question. Again, it is related to the federation or industries. If you see, Printpack has crossed a few hurdles. In 2017, after November 8th, the demonstration, most of the exhibitions in India has been postponed later months. But we were the big association. We said nothing doing, we will go ahead. And trust me, 2017 Printpack, one of the best Printpack for all the exhibitors. And we have proven in the same thing in 2019 also, last year. Printpack is the only exhibition in the world which has grown 47% in 2019. And I'm very optimistic with the help of our members, all print veterinaries across the segments in the country. We are going to grow 25% even 2021 show also. I would like to tell you, so far we have already got 273 bookings already we have received. And why we have grown year on year is every year we have been adding few segments. Like 2021, you can see new segments, signage and LED. And you can see a segment corrugation exclusively in a large scale. And you can see label industry in a large scale. And of course, screen printing is already there. So you're going to see like a Drupa in India, a particular segment person who will visit to Printpack, they can go into specific demarked halls wherein he can spend his maximum time. And the rest of the time, whatever is available, he can go into the other segment side. So last 2019 exhibition also, why we have grown is with 509 exhibitors and 92,793 visitors from 83 countries is because of associations and support of all FCBMA, screen printing industry, label industry, and AFMP. With this amalgamation of all these jointness only can grow us. And I'm sure this year also we are able to see the growth. And what Narendra sir and Venu Chetty sir has said, that is absolutely right. Today, the need of our is joint 10 printers or 15 printers together, make a huge investments, maybe 40 crores, 50 crores, and compete with the rest of the world. Thank you, Joseph.
Thank you, sir. Denjit sir, Denjit Karthikeyan?
Yeah.
Can you? Sir,
I can hear you.
So probably this may be the last question because looking at the time. So I just want to ask you, hearing all this, how do you see any disruptive ideas or alternative suggestions for this print industry? Like the problems are the same with many other industries, but having heard us so much, so have anything else to suggest? Do you want anything into the mindset of printers today?
I think that whatever has been discussed here, one major resounding word that we hear is collaborate. So one and only thing that I possibly see is the collaboration that will happen among all the industry players. Make sure that these huge. See, there was a just after the Twin Tower was blasted, the tourism really worked in a negative way in the US. So generally, one of the major examples that are quoted on a collaborative working is about the tourism, the cruise ships that actually the cruises were not doing great, and this time immediately after this bombing of the Twin Tower, the biggest cruise operator, I think the name was Carnival, they stretched out their hands and they collaborated with the number 2 and number 3 cruise operators. And then the rest is history. They were able to really give a huge net return on net worth. The shareholder value was hugely impacted. I think all of you can just get into that kind of a study paper, Google it up and see that what collaboration can happen. Probably the small units can stitch their networking together, make joint bids to big corporations, make sure that they are very, very, very competitive. The pricing, the services. This is definitely going to, as earlier panelists said, there is going to be a huge disruption in the business because of the digital intervention. Many of us don't read books. We go to the Kindle or may use the iPads and kind of stuff. So the reading pattern has changed. So packaging, that is one industry, especially when a lot of new companies are coming in, when we have become one of the second largest producer of iPhones, of mobile phones, then there are scope to actually look at other avenues. So the biggest disruption will happen only on collaboration. Number 2, the huge tightening of belt. Like, for example, you have to possibly see whether work from home really works. See, most of the activities, the pre-press activities can, if at all, it can be at home. You can release a lot of real estate. Can you really work on such activities where you can maybe look at having paying a lesser of rent by shifting away your unused machinery, and these kinds of activities has to happen now for you to be competitive, which brings down your pricing. The pricing, when it becomes lesser, it will create. And another important thing is that make sure that whether many companies have cut down on their marketing costs during this economic downturn. Many studies have found that people who have invested diligently in marketing and also capital investments, possibly this is one time when you can actually talk to your manufacturers on a delayed payment basis. The payments can be made subsequently or maybe on a partnership basis. Or make sure that this is a time when we bring down the cost, but give basically the best of prices, induce people to print more. Maybe the industry itself has to make sure that the prices of digital copies are higher than possibly the printed books, something like that. And most importantly, I would say you should possibly embrace something called dharmic capitalism. The capitalistic approach where the employer, employee, the customer, seller kind of relationship possibly get redefined. That is the biggest disruption I would see post-COVID activity, where you have to embrace a little bit of ethical, dharmic, capitalistic method, where the employee becomes a stakeholder, your customer becomes a stakeholder, your supplier becomes a stakeholder, where there can be transparency, and that is where the disruption would possibly happen in redefining and being sustained with a lean and mean structure. I think we should definitely think very hard into moving towards that level where we all have a sustainable development model, and none of us go down in this particular pandemic infected the economic downturn, and survive to be competitive in the next world, especially printing industry, which has already been threatened. Like, we cannot look at something like the digital photography, which threw away the conventional photography, which most of the companies were wiped out. Similar with Nokia telephones, where the smartphones took over, and printing has to become innovative. They should get into more ideas which will make it sustainable for a long term to come. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. So this collaboration is one major message from today's session. I believe that right now printers are on a move to compete, and there is blood on the street. Everyone is suffering. So that mindset has to change. So before we end, actually, I want to take two more questions. One from Ajay. So Ajay, you are someone who worked on you worked in Chief Secretary's office as a strategic consultant for some time. So as mentioned, we are not able to present or not able to get our due from government. That's a very big shortcoming for our industry. So what do you think that industry should do or industry association should do to be heard by the authorities, the statutory bodies, or by the government or the policy makers? What is the best practice followed by other industries in such scenarios?
I think Reddy Garu, Dayakar Reddy sir actually answered part of that question, where he spoke about how he's trying to bring all the ecosystem partners together. Printing and packaging industries which goes hand in glove. I think somewhere your packaging of information also has to be redefined. Like, for example, the numbers are not essentially your numbers. It's not just 1 lakh printers. You will have to look at the guy who supplies you ink, the guy who maintains your machinery, who supplies you paper, and then you will realize that, probably for every 1 lakh, people working in printing industry, there is probably 20 lakh people or 20 people for every one job is, outside where you're creating indirect jobs. Like, let's say there is a printing press, 20-30 people working, and opposite side a guy decides to take a Mudra loan for 50,000 and start a tea shop. He is actually now one of your indirect job created actually. So you will have to create those large numbers and show that what is the impact of this industry, its contribution, all those things, then only government is going to take seriously. And the second thing is, if you look at some of the most rich and powerful industries like automobile, finance and all, what do? They keep crying all the time. They act poor. They go and get all the benefits. Every time, they are the first one to stand with a bowl in front of the government. They consistently engage the government around the year. I mean, whatever with their balance sheet, they are poor throughout the year, throughout the decade. So, that kind of activation has to be done from every industry. And I'm very sad to know that, printing is is a segment which is not even given a industry stature at this point of time. So, I think that is one we should get. Make our cause heard. 3, to make it heard loudly, you will have to look at mediums which are disproportionately giving you the leverage. For example, the print and the broadcast and all. Where are your stories coming today? Even barcode innovation stories don't come in the print. So, you will have to really find out, probably this is the time you will have to engage a PR agency who will repackage your communication messages and, reach out to the media houses, weave your stories and narratives and put it out to the world there so that the seriousness, your size, your scale and your vulnerability as an industry is known to the public, government, all the stakeholders.
Oh, thank you, Ajay.
If I would also, from a communication point, would like to also add that, the industry needs to brand itself. The operators or the printers need to brand themselves. Today, the conventional business is, you will go and find business. You will have to create your digital assets, social media, LinkedIn, those kind of things where people will find you and also refer business to you. You are missing on that part a lot. I was trying to visit a printing card in Trivandrum. I was looking for websites of printers. I could hardly get them. Finally, I got my printers from, where in Trivandrum. So you should also give opportunity and reason for your customers to find you, know that, how you are different, what are your offerings. Thank you.
Yeah. So we are always in hurry to publicize others, publicize big brands, corporations and businesses. So we often forget about ourselves and we don't do any publicity. That's a sad part. Yeah, that's another important point raised today. So I think time is short. So we have agreed for a quick Q&A session. So I request all of you to stay for some more time, maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes, we can wind up. I know that lunch is almost ready at all your places just behind you, but I request you to just stay for a little more time. So we received some questions from some of our like audience, and I would like to ask Ashok Neelakant to ask your questions. I will unmute you. Yeah, Ashok. Yeah.
Hello.
You can.
Good afternoon to all. It was such a wonderful experience, learning experience for me as a non-printer to be here on this session, and especially to hear such stalwarts from the industry, Narendra sir, Venuchettan, Dayakar Reddy ji. Well, my question here, as we are exhibition organizers, we organize exhibitions on packaging, printing, and many other topics, of course, food processing, pharma. But printing, as we're discussing printing here, I would like to, I forgot to mention Professor Anayat also, and the question was. It is to Dayakar Reddy ji and also to Professor Anayat, because Professor Anayat comes up with out-of-the-box solutions for everything. So I thought I would pose this question to both of you, and then to Venuchettan also. How in the post-COVID, or the COVID pandemic has pushed most of the exhibition, including Drupa and many other important exhibitions, to another date. Drupa is happening next year, April. Printpack is your own Printpack is happening in February. Then there are some other shows that are aligned close to all these shows. Where do you see the trade fair industry moving? Will people be in the right frame of mind in 2021 or later 2020 to take to think about exhibitions? And
yeah.
One more question, additional question is virtual exhibitions going to be the future of, of trade fair industry, or your future solution?
Ashokji, you have asked a very valid question. Let me tell you, there is across the globe, there is 40,000 plus exhibitions across the globe. Now, the UFI president has already announced, Germany, up to August, there won't be any exhibitions. So now the advantage like India is international exhibitions are going to badly hit because of traveling. When you travel in aircraft, when you go and stay in a hotel, when you go and every day you eat in the restaurants, there is a scope of scaredness. So when it comes to Indian country, we don't depend on any international visitors or most of the international exhibitors. The exhibition organizers who depends more on both will be badly hit. The exhibition organizers who don't depend on these stuff, definitely they will go. And even in our case in India, if we talk about, because this pandemic, nobody knows, we don't know. No, May 3rd is Prime Minister has announced that lockdown will lift, but it has already proven that once it has already been extended. So still, if you see the number of cases going every day, maybe it may be extended up to May ending or something like that. In that case, by end of November, September, there won't be any exhibitions will be succeed, whoever is does. And your next question is virtual exhibitions. Yes, definitely. It will not impact immediately. And specifically, if you talk about our exhibitions, like, because most of our attendants are printing industry, printing press exhibitions virtually going is not viable. Reason being is how you're going to check your machine quality, how you're going to check your required stuff in the machines. That may be possible in some other segments, but not in printing at this point of view. And entire exhibition industry is talking on virtual, but I can't say anything in India, at least a few years, maybe 3-4 years, none of the virtual exhibition in our industry I'm talking about will not be possible.
Okay.
Ashok sir, namaskar.
Namaskar. I always wanted to hear you, Professor. You come up with extraordinary solutions.
No. So nice of you, sir. Actually, I also want to give a special regards to my own colleagues from Sri Lanka. I can see Mr. Dilan and few from Sri Lanka. So Sri Lanka printers are also with us. I couldn't say hi to them. My hi to them also. And I will answer your two questions in this way. Like in 2020, all the exhibitions will be completely hit, badly hit. There is no doubt. 2021, probably it will start again. But not like what it is today, because post-COVID, the whole business scenario will change. I was just reading, even for going to Drupa, you may have to take a vaccine to not just an entry ticket. You may need a special vaccine, COVID vaccine, to enter the venue. And it is true with a restaurant. It is true with a gymnasium. It will be true with any public places. This will be a big business which they are planning. This is what I'm reading. This will be one of the changes. And the second part of your question regarding virtual exhibitions, 100% it is going to happen. There is no doubt about it. But the only thing is the time span, how much time it will take. Reason being, because artificial intelligence, robotics, all these will help you a lot to get a better information and better feel in a virtual world. So no printing machine manufacturer or other researchers will bring their machine to a particular place. Instead, you will be directly going to their factory where the machine is manufactured. And that is the right way to see the machinery production and how it is happening. And you never feel like you are watching something which is virtual, because almost the virtual will become real. That will be the future. It may take 10 years or 15 years. So once you go through all these, you will decide where exactly you want to go. Then that is the place where you make a physical visit. Otherwise, you may not go. So because people don't have time also like this to travel to such a long distance, spending huge money. There is no extra learning out of it. So you will be very specific to the place where you want to go. So the future of exhibitions will be virtual exhibitions. So my request and suggestion to both IPAMA, AFMP, all is like, we have to have a plan B for a virtual exhibition in the future, maybe in 10 years time or 15 years time. This is what I have to say.
Absolutely,
Thank you.
sir. You know, because if we can do a conference like this and listen to all of you experts, I think, you know, exhibitions also possible. That's what I thought. We, you know.
No, there the main benefit is you are really going to the real factory. It is not to a place, not to a restricted place where you are showing only limited technology. And it is interactive where you can ask, you can tell, take me to the R&D center. I want to have a look.
Exactly.
You can ask for a, this is the future and it is going to happen. There is no doubt.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So,
Wonderful.
yeah. Let's go to Mr. Tushar Dote from Mumbai. He will ask the next question. Sir, can you be a little quick and...
Yeah. Mr. Jose, thank you for this webinar. It has given us a lot of insights on how we should go ahead in the print. I have one question to Mr. Narendra ji and Venugopal ji, that now once this lockdown period is over and we intend to start our businesses as regular businesses, I know it's not going to be the same way as we used to do before. It will be done in stages. There will be a big, huge health compliances guidelines given by the government or MNCs for sanitization, keeping hygiene levels in your press, social distancing and all. So do you think on an association level or as one of the best printers in India, could you give us some guidelines on how we should go ahead with starting our activities in stage-wise? Mr. Narendra ji and Gopal.
I'll first go to Narendra and then to Gopal.
I sincerely think one of the very important things, and actually I'm slightly worried, the machines have not been on for about 40-45 days. So what batteries have discharged and what kind of automation will work when it starts again is an issue. So it'll take some time for us to come back on that, but that all of us will come back. As far as the COVID restrictions go, I sincerely think there is already so much information around and whatever is happening. We've been working with the skeleton staff from the last 3 weeks because we are producing for pharmaceutical companies. So we are now spraying 1% sodium chlorate. That's a bleach powder. And everybody coming in, their shoes will be go through the bleach solution and all those. Putting double mask, because it's we are making masks out of banyan cloth. That's easier on the face, otherwise it's not hurting the face. And after now there is a restriction that there has to be a 1 hour difference between the first shift and the second shift. So we are asking one of the mission men or assistant mission men to stay back after the shift is over, and he is absolutely cleaning up all the buttons and everything with the solution, so that its next team will not use the same buttons with the same, without cleaning. So these are some of the things which you are following. It's tough, it's difficult, but we have no choice. We have to go through this.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I think it's a big learning for all the printers, because we are also, everyone is going to open their presses in few days if government allows us to do that. So it's a good point. So Venugopal sir, so can you like respond to?
It is our moral obligation to accept all these things and do the necessary things, because we have a team of our employees. They are part and parcel of our organization. It is our obligation and duty to keep them well. And we are not started our printing press after the lockdown. Anyhow, every week we will send one man and to clean and run the machine for half an hour. And we got the permission from the local authority, and we are doing like that from the very beginning. Now in Kerala, they have lifted the ban only for one day, that is Friday. That is from 10 to evening 5 o'clock. So we are already doing the same in the last 2 or 3 weeks. It is not for us, but some printers, they open their establishment and some pre-press work and the cleaning and something like that. It is happening there only. I think that we have to think, and our association also thinking about what will be the things we have to do after reopening or after the lockdown. And most probably in the next week, even now in the COVID period, every Monday we will meet over this video conferencing, Zoom or something like that. And we are discussing our difficulties, problems, and a few printers are opening for some pharma and some packaging and for some government works like that only. That is very little, very few. And that is in a skeleton staff, and the permission and a lot of things, formalities are there. It has to be completed. Then only the government will give the permission to open and do the work. Like that it is going on. Anyhow, we will meet in the next week and we will discuss again. We will meet the members of KMPA, Kerala Master Printers Association. We will meet over this Zoom platform and we will discuss. Then only we will finalize what we have to do. The salary is one of the great challenges we are going to face. There is no protection, nothing like that. See, anyhow, the employees are our part. So we will discuss all these things next week only. Then we will come to a conclusion.
Mr. Jose, I would like to add few points to Narendraji and Venuji. In fact, this is for the medium-sized printers and small printers. You know, after 40 days, you're going to start your after exit of lockdown. I would request all the associations, respective associations, district-wise, state-wise, national-wise. We are preparing a checklist because, you know, the biggest challenge is going to face for rag bites. There will be a huge rag bites, and once without seeing your panel, if any printer will sit on his machine or any other machine, so that entire machine will go into a fire. So this has to be taken care very well. And suppose you have 20 machines, each machine you have to check thoroughly, and whether you are getting a right power into your machine, your transformer, everything has to be checked. So I would request all the association, because I can see MMS, BMPA, all other members also participating in this. This we should definitely communicate to all of our members across the sector. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So I have next question from academic community, Mr. B. Kumar, who is the head of Technology, Anna University in Chennai. So, Kumar sir, can you hear us?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good afternoon to everyone present there, especially to Venugopal sir and Pradeep sir and Anayat sir and Narendra sir and everyone else, Dayakar Reddy sir there. A very good afternoon. And I think it was a very positive note on the whole. People are all very optimistic, and they said it is going to be a wonderful time ahead. Coming back from COVID-19 is going to be a real challenge, though in spite of it, we are going to come back, and it is going to be a very good scenario for the printing and packaging industry. That's what I understand from the whole thing. But there are a lot of challenges again. And now, as Professor Rajendra Kumar was telling, digitalization we need to embrace, which we have been doing it, and we need to increasingly do it. And Mr. Narendra was very succinct in telling, in spite of the government, I think the whole industry was progressing. Very true in his statement. And I do not know, and maybe some of the panelists here, maybe Ajay, Mr. Ajay and Mr. Ranjit Karthikeyan should be able to, elucidate on that. Is that anything really going to happen with the government setup? The way in which the license Raj earlier we had, is it going to, it has changed a bit, but not really. Whether the industrial inspection, the safety that is going to be associated with, I think now it is going to be coming in a very big way, and people are going to put their foot on us as a government agency, and they're going to say this norm and that norm and this license and that license and hygienic conditions. I think this is going to be the order of the day. How are we going to wade this through? Is there anything really happening? Yes, thank you, sir.
Rajendra Kumar, sir, you want to respond to that?
I don't know whether it is for me. Is it so?
I think it is for Mr. Ajay, and because they were in the close to the government in the communication sector, and then Mr. Ranjit Karthikeyan.
Okay. So Ajay, you want to quickly respond to that?
Yeah, Ranjit sir is there? Okay, I'll take that. See, as the saying goes, the crying baby gets the milk. So as an industry, if you can make that right noise, show that, the consequences of not supporting the industry and the people, which jeopardizes income, employment, contribution to the GDP, all those things, that is where government starts taking you seriously. But if you look at the larger canvas, if you look at the last 10, 15 years, UPA 1, UPA 2, the NDA, the first one, and now the second one, if you look at, there's been a large impetus on policy framework and empowerment actually. I'll not say this is going in great propulsion, but there's a lot of change. There is a lot of attitude change. If you look at even today, income tax department, they cannot, randomly actually give you any notice because the notice is auto-generated. Otherwise, earlier it was actually of the whims and fancies of. So, system is getting improved, but the acceleration will happen based on how much influence you are able to mobilize, because that is when they will, bring the light on you. Otherwise, in the gradual changes, what's happening, it will continue to happen.
Thank you.
We need to race together. We need to race together. I think not just the printing industry alone, the whole industry, and stakeholders. Yes. We need to race together.
Yes.
Yeah, I would possibly like to concur with what Ajay said. The old saying, the unity is strength. We need to possibly show that and represent before the government as to what the industry needs. Especially when you look at the recent, when the U.S. government came asking for medicine, the malaria medicine, the one thing that they said is the industry has to be released from the whims and fancies of the FDA that is present in India, and that happened. And possibly what we need to say is this is exactly what we need.
The government possibly will not look at industry to industry. This is not about just the government in the political sense, but also the administration, which has the bureaucratic setup, which we have inherited from the British era, where the bureaucrats takes the call. So we need to possibly have a good working relationship with the bureaucrats, make them understand, and then possibly say that this is what is going to be good for the industry, for the economy, and for the nation at large. So basically, we need huge research, listening activities, publicity, communication, all these things. Then Ajay made a very, very brilliant point where he said that you have to make known to the world that you are existing. You are existing only through the product that you give. But as a silent player, a very important player in the economy, I think we should listen to more of the voices from the industry organizations. The collaboration again comes into picture, that the sound will be louder when you all scream together. So I think the government today, we have a very listening government, very responsive government in my personal experience. So I think we should not have any problem in saying that this is exactly what we want. And anything reasonable, I think we should certainly get it from the government.
Perfectly said, sir. It is a very proactive government we have, but still we need to be together and raising our voice. We need to, yes. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So I think with this, we have crossed all the time limits, and this is the time to. So I get the message that, okay, so while starting this session, I was little apprehensive and negative, to be precise. I thought we are going to face a crisis, but after this session, I am very optimistic and hopeful, and there were very good and insightful suggestions. I think it's all that is not going to be black and gray for the printers. We can be hopeful of something, a combination of cyan, magenta, and yellow, and even we redefine our our current set of mindset and the way we are working, and we unite together. I think most of the printers will be able to emboss some gold or silver on top of it. That's how I see this. And thank you everyone for attending this. There was good participation. There were more than 80 people today to participate in this. So I expect all of you to be there for tomorrow's session also. And we have a session coming up on 25th, which is next Saturday, with a different set of panels and a different set of areas we are touching on that. We have the Sri Lankan print industry association president joining tomorrow. So we should hear from other parts of the world also. I think listening, as Ajay mentioned, listening is very important for us now. This is a time we listen more and collaborate more and stay united. That's a message from me today. So Pradeep, so you want to add? Pradeep was continuously running after from his home, obviously, for this session to be successful. I think he done a good work, and the effort is fruitful. So Pradeep, yeah, I'm unmuting you. Just yeah. Pradeep.
Okay, I am hearing. Hello.
Yes.
Okay. So it was a wonderful seminar with high inputs and also some good declarations. So thank you very much for the Agretti sir, Anil sir, Ranjit Karthikeyan sir, Ajay Padmanabhan sir, and Vedugopal ji. They are always giving wonderful suggestions, and also the positive energy what we get will definitely it will make a fruitful industry, print industry for future. And so tomorrow we have a very good interactive session at the same time with very important dignitaries from different parts of the world and different subjects. Mr. Delan Silva, from President of Sri Lankan Print Industry, and Mr. Balagopal, the founder of Tenbo Fenpol, and also he was the independent director for Federal Bank for financial aspects. And also Mr. Chandrasekharan IAS, he is still the director of training and skill development in Kerala State, and he is the director for CASE also. And the Federation President, All India Master Printers Association President Dibyajyoti Kalida also will be there in the tomorrow session. And regarding the manufacturing sector, Executive Director and the CEO of Technova Imaging System, Mr. C.G. Ramakrishnan will address in tomorrow's session. And last but not least, Mr. C.N. Ashok, manufacturer of auto printing machinery and managing director for auto printing machinery, will also be a part. Thank you for attending. A consistent 80 to 90 participants. So they are very interested and they are cooperating with us. So thank you very much for all dignitaries and all the attendees. Thank you very much from Future Schools. And we will be with you always with for improving the print industry, and we are trying along with you for the improvement, values and ethics. Thank you very much.
With this, we end this session today. Let's hope we all meet tomorrow again on the same time, and we will share you the new for tomorrow's session tomorrow morning itself. Thank you all. Thank you.